When you picture New Zealand, what comes to mind? For most people, it's the sweeping green hills of Hobbiton, the majestic fjords of Milford Sound, and the adrenaline-fueled adventures in Queenstown. It's a country that looks like a postcard, a promise of pristine landscapes and epic fantasy. But what those tourist brochures and Instagram feeds don't show you is the quiet reality of a Tuesday afternoon. They don't capture the feeling of the morning commute, the actual price of cheese at the supermarket, or what people do when it's been raining for 3 days straight. You've seen the stunning mountains and the perfect beaches, but what is a normal Tuesday afternoon really like for someone who actually calls New Zealand home? In this video, we're going beyond the highlight reel. We're going to walk you through a typical week to show you what daily life in New Zealand is really all about. We'll get into the Kiwi culture, their famous work-life balance, and what you can realistically expect if you were to live here. This isn't about a one-week holiday. This is about the real rhythm of life in Aotearoa, the land of the long white cloud. Our week kicks off on a Monday morning, and right away we run into that famous pillar of Kiwi life, the work-life balance. It's a concept that gets thrown around a lot, but what does it mean on a practical level? For starters, the day doesn't begin with a frantic, soul-crushing commute. Even in a capital city like Wellington, my journey to the office is a tiny fraction of what it would be in London or Los Angeles. People walk, they cycle, they hop on a bus. There's a noticeable lack of that big city panic. The typical work week here is about 37 to 40 hours. And that's not just a friendly suggestion. For most people, it's the reality. The culture isn't built on staying late just to impress the boss. In fact, doing that is often seen as a sign of poor time management, not dedication. By 5 p.m., offices are emptying out. People have things to do, families to see, lives to live. This isn't just a perk. It's a deeply ingrained part of how people think here. A 2025 report from Frog Recruitment actually showed that work-life balance has become the #1 priority for New Zealand employees, even overtaking job security. It's a philosophy that employers tend to respect because life is meant for living. The work environment itself is refreshingly informal. Hierarchies are pretty flat. You'll probably call your CEO by their first name, and you're more likely to see them in a casual shirt than a power suit. The focus is on teamwork and getting the job done, not on office politics. There's also a big push to think of a workforce as a whānau, the Maori concept of an extended family, where companies are encouraged to look after their people's well-being. This approach builds a real sense of mutual respect and trust. And while New Zealand does have some productivity challenges compared to other countries, the focus is shifting to working smarter, not just longer. Flexible work is also becoming the norm, a trend that really solidified in 2025. Lots of companies have embraced hybrid models, understanding that being productive isn't tied to a specific desk in a specific office. It's about results, not hours logged. That sense of trust is a cornerstone of the Kiwi workday. So, as Monday winds down, there's no feeling of dread for the week ahead. The day was productive, but it didn't drain every last bit of energy. There's still time and space for life outside of work, which is exactly what the rest of our week is all about. Tuesday is when we need to talk about one of the biggest challenges of living in New Zealand, the cost of living. This is the reality that often hits the hardest after the honeymoon phase of stunning views wears off. To really get it, let's go on a typical weekly grocery shop. You'll probably find yourself at one of the main supermarkets, Countdown, New World, or the more budget-friendly Pack and Save. Walking through the aisles, you'll notice that local produce, meat, and dairy are generally affordable, but anything imported comes with a serious price tag. That block of fancy cheese, that bottle of European wine, those out-of-season berries, it all adds up fast. A careful grocery budget for a single person might hover around 150 NZD a week, but many find it creeping closer to $200, pushing that monthly bill towards $600 or more. A simple takeaway coffee will set you back about $5, and a casual meal out is usually around $20 to $25. But the single biggest expense, hands down, is housing. In major cities like Auckland and Wellington, it eats up a huge chunk of anyone's budget. As of early 2025, the median weekly rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in Wellington can easily start around $650 and go up significantly from there, especially for a modern place in a central location. Of course, sharing a flat with others is the norm for many, which brings individual costs down. But it's a number you have to factor into your budget. Then you've got utility bills. Power, internet, and heating can add another couple of $100 a month. And this brings us to another Kiwi reality: the quality of the housing. A lot of the older homes, especially the classic wooden weatherboard houses, are notoriously under-insulated. The weather here can be incredibly changeable, and a home without good insulation can feel damp and freezing in the winter. This has been such a massive issue that the government brought in the Healthy Home Standards, with a final compliance deadline of July 1st, 2025. These standards require rental properties to have proper heating, insulation, and ventilation to make sure they're warm and dry. It's a huge step forward, but it's something you have to be very aware of when you're looking for a place to live. So, is it impossibly expensive? It's all about the trade-off. The costs are high, there's no denying it, but they are balanced out by other things. The healthcare system is heavily subsidized, so a visit to your regular doctor might only cost you around $20, though it can be more at some clinics. The world-class education system is also publicly funded. When you add in the lifestyle, the safety, and the incredible access to nature, a lot of people find that the balance sheet makes sense. It's not cheap, but you do get a lot for your money. Wednesday arrives, and it's the perfect day to talk about the recharge culture here. In many places, Wednesday is just hump day, a slump you have to get through before the weekend. In New Zealand, it's often an opportunity. Because people finish work at a reasonable time, the evening isn't just for recovering before the next workday, it's usable time. This is where the outdoors becomes part of daily life, not just a weekend trip. After work, you'll see people out everywhere. In Wellington, the waterfront is packed with runners, cyclists, and people just out for a walk. It's not a special event, it's just Wednesday. So many people are part of social sports leagues: touch rugby, netball, indoor soccer. They're incredibly popular and a great way to stay active and connect with people in a relaxed way. The key is how easy it is to do. You don't need to plan some massive expedition. In most cities, you are never far from a park or a hiking trail, which is called a tramping track here. From my house in Wellington, I can be on top of Mount Victoria with a panoramic view of the city and harbor in about a 30-minute walk. This closeness to nature is a fundamental part of the lifestyle. It's a stress reliever, a gym, and a social space all rolled into one. It's just woven into the fabric of the day. This midweek recharge is also fueled by a strong sense of community. There's a culture of getting involved locally, whether it's volunteering for a conservation group or joining a club. It comes from a national passion for sustainability and protecting the native plants and animals. This active, community-focused approach to the middle of the week is a powerful antidote to burnout. It stops the week from feeling like a monotonous grind. It reinforces the idea that life is happening right now, not just in the 2 days you get on the weekend. It's proof that work-life balance is more than just a policy. It's a lifestyle people are actively living. Thursday is a great day to talk about the social fabric of New Zealand, the culture, the etiquette, and how people connect. And any discussion about Kiwi social life has to start in one place: a cafe. Cafe culture is the backbone of socializing here. It's where business meetings happen, where friends catch up, and where you go for your daily ritual. And that ritual almost always involves a flat white. It's a coffee that Kiwis claim to have perfected, and they are very proud of it. The vibe is always relaxed and totally unpretentious. This relaxed feeling extends to social interactions in general. Kiwis are known for being friendly, approachable, and informal. There's not a lot of emphasis on status or formality. A big part of this comes from the Maori concept of manaakitanga, which is all about hospitality, kindness, and generosity. It's a principle of looking after others and making them feel welcome. You'll feel it when a neighbor brings over something they baked, or when a stranger just starts a conversation while waiting for the bus. Of course, to really fit in, you'll need to get your head around the local slang. You'll hear chur as a way of saying thanks. Something great is sweet as or choice as. Your flip-flops are jandals, and a cooler is a chili bin. If someone asks you to bring a plate, don't show up with an empty one. It means you're expected to bring a dish to share at a party. And if you're heading out to the middle of nowhere, you're going to the wop wops. It's a colorful part of the language that's always changing. Beyond the slang, you'll see Maori culture woven into everyday life. Place names, street signs, and official greetings like kia ora are everywhere. This is more than just for show. It reflects a growing and vital part of the national identity. The concept of wano, meaning extended family and community, really shapes how people relate to one another and creates a strong sense of belonging. New Zealand is also a very multicultural society with large Pacific Islander and Asian communities, especially in Auckland. This diversity is celebrated through food, festivals, and in schools, creating a vibrant and dynamic social scene. For newcomers, breaking into these established communities can sometimes feel like a challenge. The friendly but sometimes reserved nature of Kiwis can be mistaken for being standoffish. The key is just to get involved. Joining a sports club, a volunteer group, or a hobby class is the fastest way to build real connections and turn acquaintances into good friends. Friday afternoon in New Zealand has a distinct feeling. There's a collective, quiet sigh of relief as the work week winds down. That 5 p.m. exit is even more obvious than on other days. The focus immediately shifts from work to life. The question on everyone's lips isn't, "What are you working on?" but "What are you up to this weekend?" The Friday night social scene reflects the country's overall vibe. It's generally pretty relaxed. While the bigger cities have plenty of busy bars and restaurants, the typical Friday night for many involves casual after-work drinks with colleagues. It's less about a wild night out and more about hanging out and celebrating the end of the week. A pint of beer will cost around $10 to $12, and a glass of local wine is about the same. For many, Friday night is for planning. This is when the weekend adventures get locked in. People are checking the weather, packing the car, and texting friends. Is it going to be a tramp in the Tararua Ranges? A surf trip to Raglan? A visit to the wineries in Martinborough? The conversation is always about getting out and doing something. This is where the dream of New Zealand really meets the reality. Those epic landscapes aren't just a pretty backdrop. They are the weekend playground. And because the country is relatively small, so much is within reach. And from Wellington, a short drive can take you to the rugged Wairarapa coastline or the beautiful Kapiti coast. There's also a strong culture of the Bach, pronounced batch, which is basically a simple holiday home. Weekends are for escaping the city, even if it's just to a modest little cabin by the beach. It's about disconnecting from the routine and reconnecting with nature and family. The Friday vibe is one of anticipation and possibility. It's the starting gun for 2 days dedicated to what Kiwis value most: time spent outdoors, with family and friends, making the most of the incredible country they call home. It's a clear signal that the weekend is sacred, reserved for living life to the fullest. If Friday was about anticipation, Saturday is all about action. This is the day to truly live the lifestyle that draws so many people to this corner of the world. The promise of the outdoors is about to be fulfilled. Let's imagine a typical Saturday starting from Wellington. The car is packed with a chili bin full of snacks, tramping boots and togs, swimsuits, just in case. A popular and easy trip is to head up the Kapiti coast. It's a scenic drive that takes you out of the city and along the Tasman Sea. The destination might be Paraparaumu Beach, where you can catch a ferry to Kapiti Island, a stunning nature reserve and bird sanctuary. What's amazing is how this isn't a once-a-year special occasion. For many Kiwis, this is just a regular weekend. The national parks and walking tracks are incredibly well maintained by the Department of Conservation, DOC, and there are options for every fitness level. You could be doing a multi-day great walk, like the Abel Tasman track, or a simple 1-hour loop through native bush. The point is just to be out in it. This deep connection to the environment is also linked to the Maori concept of kaitiakitanga, the idea of guardianship and protection of the land. It's a responsibility to care for the natural world for future generations. You see this in the pride people take in their local environment and the huge number of community-led conservation projects. Or you could head in the other direction, towards the Putanjirua Pinnacles. These incredible rock formations, famous as a Lord of the Rings filming location, are just a couple of hours' drive away. Walking through these towering natural pillars feels like stepping into another world, and it's completely free. You just need a car and a sense of adventure. After a day of hiking, the afternoon might be spent at a local beach or stopping by a small-town cafe for a classic meat pie and a coffee. The day is full but not rushed. It's about the experience, breathing in fresh air, and shaking off the city. This is the payoff for the high cost of living. This is the reward for choosing to live in a small, remote country. The ease with which you can escape into world-class scenery is unlike anywhere else. Saturday is a powerful reminder of why people fall in love with New Zealand, not just as a place to visit, but as a place to live. After an active Saturday, Sunday in New Zealand is usually a day for winding down, resetting for the week, and embracing life at home. It's a quieter, more domestic day, but one that reveals just as much about the Kiwi character. This is the day you'll hear lawnmowers humming all through the suburbs. The quarter-acre dream, while shrinking in the cities, still has a powerful hold on the national imagination. Having a bit of a backyard or garden is a big deal. This ties into a fierce DIY, do-it-yourself spirit. You'll find tons of Kiwis spending their Sunday fixing up the house, working in the garden, or tackling a project in the garage. Hardware stores like Bunnings or Mitre 10 are practically social hubs on the weekend. Sunday is also family day. It's the day for a lazy brunch, a visit to a local market to pick up fresh produce, or a classic backyard barbecue, even if it's just some sausages on the grill. It's about spending quality time with whānau. Because New Zealand is so safe, it's considered an amazing place to raise children. Sundays are often filled with kids' sports, trips to the playground, and a general sense of wholesome, community-focused life. For me, Sunday is also about the practical side of things. It might mean putting on a load of laundry and hanging it on the line outside. Clothes dryers are less common here than you might think. It's also a day where you're reminded that life here isn't a perfect fantasy, as you might notice the little drafts in an older house that the healthy home standards are trying to fix. The pace of a Kiwi Sunday is noticeably slower. Shops often close earlier and the streets are quieter. It's a collective day of rest and preparation. People cook meals for the week, catch up on life admin, and get their heads right for Monday. But it's done with a sense of calm, not anxiety. As the sun sets on Sunday, the week has come full circle. We've seen the balanced workday, grappled with the cost of living, recharged midweek, socialized over coffee, and explored the great outdoors. Sunday brings it all back home, grounding the week in the simple, rewarding rhythm of daily life. So that's a glimpse into a typical week of what life is really like here in New Zealand. It's a life of balance, trade-offs, and some pretty incredible rewards. We've covered a lot, but everyone's experience is different. So I want to hear from you. For those of you living in NZ, what did I miss? What does your typical week look like? And for those of you thinking about making the move, what's your biggest question or concern? Drop it in the comments below. I'm really keen to hear your thoughts, as this is where the real conversation happens. And of course, if you found this video helpful and want more honest insights into life in Aotearoa, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It makes a huge difference and helps a lot. Living in New Zealand is not a permanent vacation. It's a real country with real-world problems. The cost of living is a serious factor. The weather can be all over the place, and being so far from the rest of the world can sometimes feel isolating. It isn't a perfect, flawless paradise, but the trade-off is a lifestyle that's getting harder and harder to find in the modern world. It's a life that tends to value well-being over wealth, community over competition, and a connection to nature over a connection to a concrete jungle. It's a place where you can have a fulfilling career and still have the time and energy to climb a mountain, swim in the ocean, or just enjoy a quiet evening with your family. You have to be willing to embrace a slower, more deliberate way of life. You have to value community and be ready for the realities of living on an island at the bottom of the world. It's not always easy, but for those who are looking for this kind of balance, it is an extraordinary place to call home. For me, it has absolutely been worth it. Thanks for watching. Ka kite ano, see you later.